Welcome to the CHGO Bears Podcast on a Week 2 special Thursday. When we needed a boost, we had to turn to Fox Sports and Carmen Vitali, who was gracing us in our studio. I feel like it's some Bears After Dark all over again. I might start crying.
I know, this is the OG like Bears After Dark crew, isn't it?
That's
right.
That's
Fun.
right.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
We barely let Braggs talk. It was so much fun. Who is this guy over there? And then he just kept going and going. And
world domination now. She knows all about that.
I know.
And we're so proud.
We are so proud of you, but we are also so proud of the show today because we are doing everything we can to move the ball forward. We are moving on to week 2.
No more crying.
You guys were like in a bad way when I got here today. Yeah. I feel really bad.
We're pulling out. You're gonna pull us out of this. This is your responsibility.
No pressure, Lawrence. Help me out here.
Vibes are not immaculate.
Vibes are not immaculate
right now.
Don't you can't go to Lawrence for pulling you out. He will drag you
down. Come
on.
I brought donuts today. What are you talking about?
That's true.
You did bring.
Oh, that's nice.
That's true, and I have not tried them.
Well, they might be gone. I already ate 2 of them.
I brought down donuts and ate them all.
Yeah. Doug Van Dorn says, I love Carm. Carm, maybe not as much. I think we know who
he left off the about. I, I'm going to assume, on the first Carm.
I mean, people like in my regular life call me Carm,
right.
But like because to avoid any sort of confusion with you, I make sure to go by Carmy in these settings, in this environment.
I could be Mark for the rest of the show. We could do that. That might.
You're not a Mark.
That's
though.
Awkward.
I'm not.
You don't look like a Mark.
I'm not a Mark.
No.
Not even. I'm definitely not a Mark.
Well, you're a Mark.
You're a
that's
Mark.
A totally different thing.
I've been Mark occasionally, but
like in very, very professional settings.
never in
government situations.
Yes, right. When I got, how about? No, we don't need to talk about my latest
run-in with the feds, with the government.
Latest run-in with the law. I got pulled over. I was driving down.
Yesterday?
No, 2 days ago. I was driving down Green Bay Road in Highland Park, Illinois. A lot of rough and tumble things going on apparently in HP these days, and the lights go on, and I'm like, what the? And they're like, sir, you had your phone in your hands. I'm like, who?
Wow.
Who doesn't drive in a car with their phone in one of their hands?
I'm cutting video driving.
Oh my gosh. I mean,
tweeting. It's not.
You all shouldn't be. I do believe I've texted as well.
I know.
But
I don't condone it.
It's very bad.
Of course you shouldn't be. But like to have the level of police talent to be able to see, I'm ahead of him that I have a phone in my hand that I was,
did you tell him just like to touch some grass? Like, bro, just touch some grass.
I got pulled over yesterday too.
Did you really?
Yep.
What? Oh my God, you're with a bunch of degenerates.
Oh my God, now I'm gonna have to be like really careful on my driving.
The highway was just. It was a standstill.
Oh, so you did something wrong.
And I was going to pick up my daughter from school.
Oh, and so you thought you're more important than everyone else?
Shoulder.
Oh, look at you. Oh, I'm more important than everybody else who's trying to get where they're supposed to be going. So I'm going to go on the shoulder.
Okay.
All of a sudden, the statey was behind me, and she was very nice, and she let me off with a warning, so I won't do it anymore.
You got the warning. There you go.
That was really nice.
There you go.
I think warnings are more effective than tickets.
Gotta be honest, there's nothing I hate more in this world than when I'm on the Eisenhower going home and it's backed up and you see those assholes on the shoulder going like 65.
You
fucking
could do
hate
it
those
too,
people.
you wimp.
No, you cannot.
Yes, you can.
We live in a society, Mark Carman. You
if
should
you
know
get
this.
Caught, you will get
a
ticket. If you don't get caught, you won't.
Ask for forgiveness, not for permission.
That's a life motto of mine, legitimately. Legitimately.
I'm never giving Lawrence a ride anywhere else. All he does is complain about my aggressive driving. Are you really going over to the right? You're going to cut these people off?
I've driven with you a bunch of times, actually, and I've never complained.
That's why you can.
I mean, Carmen, he was falling asleep on I-65.
Okay, well, if you're falling asleep.
I wasn't falling asleep. I'm never driving Lawrence anywhere again. Okay, let's get back on track here. All right.
I have a finite
Welcome.
So I want to ask you guys a question as we start week 2, because I think that we are in a Bears really need to turn it around immediately. Let's not go down the dark hole of 0-2, 0-3, wherever this is going to go. Let's get the narrative going in a positive way. So I think it's an all hands on deck, and we're going to get to how you think they can beat the Bucs in a minute, because you cover the Bucs forever. You know football better than anybody on this show. Let's be honest. We'll do that in a second. But I want to ask you this. I want to ask a simple question. What I think is a simple question. What is the Chicago Bears' best attribute? What? And I'll make it easier. What one thing that one player does? What one thing does one player on this team do better than any other player that they have doing anything else?
Braggs, you want to go first?
My God.
Do I need to answer the question? My own question. Let
me
ask you this.
It would be running the ball.
Let me do it this way. There is
best attribute the home uniforms.
Yeah, it'd be running ball, because last year they set the franchise record for rushing yards.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then B, the only bright spot of week 1 was Roschon Johnson.
Okay. Let me ask it a different way. There was one player in all of football last year that had 10 plays where he was running at 20 miles an hour, and his name was Tyreek Hill, who's a very good wide receiver last time I checked, right? Mm-hmm. There was another player who ran over 20 miles an hour 9 times in the NFL. Can anybody want to take a guess as to who that might be on the Chicago Bears?
Ooh.
Go ahead, Lawrence.
Is it number 1, Justin Fields?
That's correct.
Yeah.
It is Justin Fields. Now, when we looked at week 1, this is giving me optimism, by the way, everybody. I'm feeling good about this. When we looked at week 1, was the offense designed around Justin running the ball? No, it was not. Is the best
Carmen
trade?
just came prepared with this whole thing.
Yes, is the best.
You don't need us.
Well, no, I do, because the rest of the shows. I only have 3 minutes of this. Do the Baltimore Ravens, when they were winning games, did they build their offense around Lamar Jackson and what he does well?
Yes,
they did.
Jeez.
So,
which is kind of why I wanted Greg Roman a few years ago.
Right.
I'll leave that.
Right. Did the Philadelphia Eagles build their offense around Jalen Hurts last year and what he did well, what he does well? Yeah, they did. So I would think that when the Bears sit down and look at this week and fast forward Zoom style like they did last year after the Commanders game.
Right. It cannot take that long to come to Jesus.
I think to me it is a come to Jesus. This is what we have. He is not going to evolve into something totally different, certainly not immediately. Let us put him in the best position to do what he does best. So to make him look good and to make us look good. And I think there's a chance this can happen. You look very unlikely with that look, that you're very concerned that it won't happen. But to me, I think that's fairly obvious. He is elite at this skill, and they don't have anybody else that is elite at anything. I would lean into that if I was the Bears.
I have somewhat, I agree with you in some aspects, and I think that there is room to do this in the beginning of games to get everyone comfortable, get Justin Fields comfortable, confident, get the offensive line, do like run blocking, because that's something that they were good at last year. And then, but you need to evolve though. Like you need to, this season, you have to get an evaluation on who Justin Fields is as a quarterback.
I think we know.
That he can't pass the ball?
That he's a mediocre passer. Okay. And that he's going to get gradually better. This is what he is.
I don't know that you can build your franchise around someone who's very one-dimensional.
Lamar Jackson, they went
Lamar Jackson can sling the football. Also, his floor and Jalen Hurts' floor is much higher than what Justin Fields is. That's a reality.
But to Carm's point, in Lamar Jackson's offense, and you say he can sling it, he certainly can. He proved that in college. So did Justin Fields. But at the same time, they still used Lamar Jackson's ultimate strength, which was to run the football, which sucks the defense in. There was only one designed run in week 1.
Right. No,
so
that's
to build him up to a quarterback that can win Super Bowls and play from the pocket, you still have to stick to what he's great at now, is I think the point you're trying to make.
I'm trying, play to your skills, man. Play to your strengths.
And I agree with that. I don't think that you have to get rid of the run entirely, and I think you need to integrate it in and have a more balanced offense. And that's why I said in the beginning of games, maybe you start with running the ball a lot more and you get Justin Fields a little bit more
100%.
confident and all that other stuff. And then you build into
what I said a million times was throughout the week was how many times were they in shotgun? Like you said, run the ball more. The beginning of the game was the tone setter. And to run it with Cole Kmet and then QB sneak and loss of downs because of it, and not have Roschon Johnson, a guy will just drive through a wall for you.
Right.
That's called setting the tone. And to me, like you said, running the ball early, set the tone, get in the I formation, get out of shotgun. I should go back and try to count between the 37 snaps, for Justin Fields when he threw the ball, 37 pass attempts, how many of those were under center and how many of them were in shotgun? It far outweighed in shotgun. So to me, when you're trying to run play action bootleg, what good does it run that if you haven't established a run under the I formation?
Right. Or in any way, shape, or form, honestly. I mean, but the execution of everything was one thing, but the play design, there were some really good, well-designed plays, I thought, but especially on that opening series, the 2 sneaks, you saw Cole Kmet coming in there to do that. It makes no sense to me at all because you saw the linebackers come down. And they knew exactly what was going to happen. And Cole is not used to doing that. So, there is a technique to a sneak. Brady used to stagger his feet so he could get a little bit of momentum going in. And he's one of the best quarterbacks to ever sneak the ball. And then when Justin Fields comes in, I don't see any guys behind Justin to push him. Right. I don't and that's something the Philadelphia Eagles do really well with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback sneaker. I think Justin Fields could be too, but he has skill players behind him pushing him. You can't have offensive linemen do it. That's illegal, but apparently you can have wide receivers and
unless
running backs
you're
and stuff.
Reggie Bush against Notre Dame.
Let's go, push.
But yeah, so I
hate Notre Dame. Sorry.
There were so many things that didn't make sense on Sunday, and
you'll learn to love them.
Nobody was making Justin Fields' job easier either.
And so I'm just, the reason why I wanted to start the show here is because I'm just thinking, I believe in logic. Last night when I was thinking, how can we help the show? We're talking about the Bucs, who covers the Bucs and who's friends with the show. I thought, we should call up Carmen Vitali.
Light bulb at 11 o'clock at night.
Right.
It literally came at 11 o'clock at night, guys. Right. It really did.
Yeah, right. And then I would think that the Bears and Luke Getsy looking at how do we get ourselves out of this? Oh, well, let's let Justin do what he does.
Well, and here's the thing that is ironic to me. Looking ahead now, turning the page as we headline this show.
Yeah.
Todd Bowles is going to bring the heat.
Yeah.
They brought the heat on Kirk Cousins. They're going to bring the heat even more on Justin Fields and test this offensive line, test Luke Getsy, test Justin Fields.
Yep.
And the realization I've come to is that they're going to have to kind of run the same game plan they had last week. Getting the ball out quick, screen game. That's what is going to stymie a blitz. Am I right?
That and the fact that also Todd Bowles' defenses are fundamentally based on stopping the run. So, not only does he bring a ton of pressure in the pass game, but he also will stop the run. And they've got some dogs on that defensive line. I mean, they've had Vita Vea, but last year they took Logan Hall, and now they took Kalijah Kancey. So you've got this crazy rotation of these interior, essentially pass rushers now because, they're gigantic and they can push the pocket. And it makes the guys on the edge, it makes that a lot easier for them too.
So I'm trying to be encouraged.
Right.
But
So
when
no,
you say this,
the way to
I
beat
am
this
terrified.
is a screen. I know the way to beat that is a screen game. Is just to get the ball out as soon as possible, get it out into space, get it out where you have some one-on-one matchups.
So spin zone, because they were so bad at it last week, they know everything they need to do to execute it correctly.
You would hope that they would learn.
They better learn. It's coming this Sunday.
So, all right, I want to tee up just a couple more Bears topics with Carmi before we get even further into the Bucs, because I see Gary putting in there, if they run the screens, they better have EQ up. What's your read on what the Bears should do with Chase Claypool? To me, and let me raise my hand high and say that I didn't like the trade the day it happened. I understood it, but I didn't really like it.
True.
And I'm not Mr. Get the ball to Chase Claypool. However, he is on this roster. To me, this is not make a point, sit Chase Claypool down to, emphasize the hits principle. Where are you at with what the Bears should do there?
Well, if you look at Chase Claypool's impact on the game outside of obviously the lack of effort on blocking, I mean, did he even have a catch?
No,
yeah.
he did
so
not. 2 targets.
2 targets, no catches. Like, you can get that in the receiving game out of Equanimeous St. Brown, and you're going to get a better blocker. So,
You think they're better off with EQ than Claypool?
I think they
What a
are, but I
statement.
don't know if they're going to do that because of what they've invested in Claypool. And I've actually defended Claypool a lot, just because he came so late last season. I was like, all right, he needs some time to get integrated into this offense, to understand it. But from all we heard this offseason, he was working out with Justin Fields during the summer, and he's been working really hard, and Justin seems to have a very good opinion of him. So I'm like, okay, now we get to see it. But then to see the total lack of effort, it's just inexcusable.
Can't they just make EQ active and not bench Claypool?
You could.
Yeah,
You could
do both.
You can put
Move
Tyler
somebody else around.
Tyler Scott.
Why
would
does
be
it
a
have to be a
candidate.
wide receiver is my question. Can't we just bench somebody else?
Who do you want to bench?
I don't know. Yeah. I'm not the depth chart guy, but there's got to be a 10th offensive lineman I could care less about.
How about Dominic Robinson? What's he been up to?
What?
Dominic Robinson?
Yeah, to me, they got to try to figure that wide receiver room out, and I don't know if putting one inactive, because in the game last week, it would have been sure nice to be able to be like, okay, they're not doing their job. EQ, you get out there.
Yeah, you get in there. Yeah. No, and maybe that's what they'll end up doing. It's a happy medium between the two, where you're not benching Chase, or you are maybe benching him, but he's still active, and
right. And
you're not just trading out one, right? The other.
1999 from the Duke 811. My guy, appreciate you, Duke. You're so consistent. You're so wonderful. Let's have dinner. My expectation is we lose by 40.
Proposition.
But my hope is we have a come to Jesus moment. And we have our post-bye Pats game just way earlier in the season. Not sure if it's realistic. Duke, that's what I'm trying to get to here, baby.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm doing.
Well, that's what I want to know is I've been in a dark depression. I told you this before the show. I'm literally I'm breaking out. I'm losing sleep. And we've gone over this. We've combed over it so many times. All these different film reviews by J.T. O'Sullivan, Tim Jenkins. They're helping with context, but they're not helping with my mental stability. So, and I think a lot of Bears fans feel this way. Are we overreacting? Do we need to try to take a step back, or is this literally code red because of so many things that went wrong?
I think the most frustrating part is that it's the same issues for the same reasons as last year. That's what's so disheartening to me is that you
bunch of new players.
With new players, you invested so much in this offense. You are trying to get a true evaluation on your quarterback to see if he's the franchise guy, and you don't even see incremental improvement. I actually think that you do see a little bit of improvement on the defense. Not a lot. It wasn't a great effort last week either. Don't get me wrong, but you can kind of see the vision a little bit more. I know that Jordan Love converted all of these 3rd and longs, but they got him into 3rd and long. So that's something. And I feel like you can kind of see the direction that the defense is going. I don't know what this offense is doing. It looks exactly the same as last year. It looked exactly the same as last year. It's
got to be an indictment on the coaching then, right? Because you have Darnell Wright, you have Nate Davis, you have new players to that offensive line. You have all these new weapons, Tyler Scott, DJ Moore. Chase Claypool for a full offseason. How can it look exactly like it looked week 1 of last year?
It actually looks worse than week 1 of
How
last
can
year.
how can it look like the John Shoop era?
Which is why I know that my guy Luke Getzey is going to turn this thing around and listen to Carm. He didn't even have to listen to me because he already figured this out, and it's going to be a bunch of fields on the ground. 1999 from the Duke again. I don't know. The scouting report on Justin is make him beat you downfield from the pocket, which he's shown he can't do. I bet they take away shortstop, and I bet they get to Justin Fields before he can launch it anyway. Listen, Duke, when you are elite at something, you are able to combat whatever the defense does. I walked by Justin Fields yesterday, not to break down the obvious here, but he is a physical freak.
Oh, yeah.
He's
a big dude.
He is enormous. He is a linebacker. Yeah. There are not a lot of him. Let him do what he does. They are not going to be able to stop him. Now it's going to put him in harm's way. This is football. That is scary. But I think you got to let him play that way. And just trust his physicality and trust his common sense.
Like Carmen, you were talking about like how Brady was like one of the best QB sneakers. Like, I mean, Brady's not a big person. Like Justin should be able to.
He's bigger than most people think he is.
But, I mean,
he is.
Okay,
I'm
fine.
sorry. He's tall. He was way taller when I worked with him. I did not realize how tall he was.
And they also execute in New England.
Yeah. That's also true. And even in Tampa, there is a strategy. There is a technique to a quarterback sneak. Yeah. It's not just like run forward. Like there are leverage points and where you aim for and all of that kind of stuff. Guys that are behind you, guys that are trying to push you, guys that are trying to clear the way. Like there is a technique to that.
It doesn't seem that hard. It does not seem that hard. There's doesn't seem like that.
I'm trying to tell you, it's harder than you think it is.
Whatever.
There is a timing.
I'm letting the Bears off the hook a little bit.
No need.
There is a timing and a rhythm. Listen, Flus said it yesterday. We are looking for timing and rhythm on offense.
That's something that Andrew Janocko told me a couple weeks ago when I interviewed him. That was something that he was still looking for Justin Fields to improve on. And the contrast between Justin Fields and Jordan Love last week was stark. Like it didn't always work out for Jordan Love, but the way that he was able to throw with anticipation, throwing to spots, throwing to places where only his receivers were going to get it.
Looking like he had been out there for 30 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens when you are able to throw with anticipation. And the difference was so stark. And the fact that Justin has not improved on that was very concerning.
To Romeo Doubs, not to Christian Watson, not to
I will
Devontae
say,
Adams. Yes, go ahead.
Think about the fact that Aaron Rodgers did not play the preseason. So like Romeo Doubs' first pass in the league in preseason came from Jordan Love. They've had a rapport with each other for a long time.
I got it.
So
that's sure, but it's still he doesn't have the best receivers running around out there,
no,
and yet and he's getting it done.
I was trying to make it sound better.
Okay, good job.
I was trying.
Good effort at least. 1999 again from the Duke. Braggs and I are in such a deep depression over this team. Our souls are in so much pain, and my legs hurt watching Carmi sit like that.
It's comfy.
Crisscross applesauce.
Crisscross applesauce. It's my thing. I don't know. It's comfy for me. My legs dangle in these chairs. That's why I do this.
Yeah, we got to get you a little table or
something.
She's
I'm kind of short, so I have very short legs.
You've always.
So I sit like this because it's more comfy.
You figure out a way to get it done. That's what you do.
Shout out to the Duke, by the way, keeping the lights on.
I know.
Thanks, Duke.
Duke is keeping the lights on wonderfully today. All right, before we get into, and Hogue's going to join us here at 12:30, and we've got interviews from the locker room today that we're going to play.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Tampa Bay in one split second. Well, actually, we're going to get into Tampa Bay through the Kyler Gordon news, who he's placed on injured reserve, so he's out for a minimum of 4 weeks. Right. That's your slot corner, who was supposed to guard Chris Godwin, who's a beast. Mike Evans is their other beast. Baker Mayfield is got a shoulder injury, but he's always playing through pain and not the best quarterback, but somehow, some way has gotten it done at least at times in his career. First off, like if you're the Bears, how do you combat no Gordon against the Bucs wide receivers?
Yeah, that's really difficult, especially because Josh Blackwell is apparently also dealing with a hamstring injury. Yeah. So I think there's probably going to be multiple guys that are going to be out of position because you need to get your best guys on the outside to combat Mike Evans. But also Chris Godwin makes his money in the slot. So
May I introduce you to a man named Greg Stroman Jr.? future Pro Bowler.
Yeah. Okay. Well, he can prove it this game.
Yeah. He looked good at camp. I'll tell you that. So,
yeah,
rooting for you, Greg. Good name. Good first name.
I have to think that the Bears are going to be very hush-hush about who they're moving where and how they're making up for the absence of Kyler Gordon. But it's going to be very difficult because Baker seems to have a good rapport with both Mike and Chris at this point. Mike has everything to prove this year because he's playing out the last year of his contract and he's kind of angry about it. So, and I don't blame him for it. So he's very motivated, and I mean he did really well against the Vikings. So he had one drop, but could have ended up with a lot more yards if he hadn't have dropped it. Like had that another touchdown, I think.
Bucs have a new offensive coordinator, Dave Canellis, coming over from the Seahawks.
Any relation to Lou?
I don't. It's not
No,
spelled
it's
the
not
same.
spelled the same. It's Canales.
Yeah,
It's Dave Canales.
but Lou's friends with everybody, so he's probably friends.
Well,
with,
that's probably true.
He's probably friends with Dave too. But so we've got a little advance with the coaching staff. They got a kicker that's booming 57-yarders, which is a thing.
Yeah.
Their special teams are super fast.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
They're young too. They have like 6 UDFAs on their 53-man roster, I think. They've got a lot of energy, and I mean it's going to come down though to this defense and how they're going to try and force Justin Fields to throw the ball downfield. Listen, I know Justin Fields has arm talent. I know he can physically throw the ball down the field, but when you have an offensive line that's going to crumble and you can't let plays develop, and the Bucs have very good corners that are going to be on these receivers, that's what I'm talking about. Like you're not going to be able to do that, and you're going to have to, we just said it, rely on the screen game as much as possible and see if you can get out into space. That's the only thing that beats this Bucs defense right now.
If you were talking to Alan Williams and giving your expert Carmen V advice, would you tell him, "Hey, dude, let's send 5, let's send 6, let's make things"? I mean, the Vikings certainly tried to do that to good old Baker.
I mean, I think that's what we're going to see a lot of that. Brian Flores.
Yeah.
He's known for being very aggressive. He's told me that's the crowning principle of his defense is being aggressive. I don't think that's news to anybody, but I would try to blitz just because of the fact that Tampa Bay line is not what it used to be. Still don't go on the left side because Tristan Wirfs is apparently as good of a left tackle as he was a right tackle, which is just incredible. But they do have some young guys, Cody Mauch at guard, and
Hogue's guy.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, he's kind of like, he looks like Jensen 2.0 with his hair and everything like that. They have Robert Hainsey at center instead of Jensen, but Hainsey spent all of last year under center with Tom. So Baker, I think, took his offensive line to the Bahamas right before the season started, like as one does.
Right.
And so I just think that could be a weak point to the Bucs. So if you can stress the offensive line as much as possible, stunts, twists, try to confuse them a little bit up front. But we didn't see the Bears do that last week, so we'll see if they can do it this week.
What do you make of the fact that the line is basically pick 'em? The Bears just got worked. The Bucs won a game. The Bucs are at home. I would think that Tampa Bay would be a 5-point favorite in this game. What am I missing here?
There are what favorites?
It was like 1.5. Hold on, let me pull it up. Lawrence,
I don't think people really trust the Bucs.
I thought it was 2.5.
2.5. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think the people really trust the Bucs yet either. I mean, I said it after the Minnesota game that I think that this team is going to surprise some people, but we're still in like the surprise zone. Like, I don't think that people know that the Bucs can still be good without Tom Brady because they are very young, and this is kind of a make or break year. I feel like, unfortunately, for the staff, and they're trying desperately to hold on to the veterans that they have and all that kind of stuff. So they're in some cap hell for the next couple of years.
I think it's mostly just like, the element of week one and the unknown.
Right.
Things happen in week one that are weird at times. So
Yeah.
I think people are like trying to find water finding its level. The Bears aren't as bad as they looked week one, even though it feels that way. And, there's a potential of a bounce back because, a lot of times momentum comes into play. And when you've won a game like the Bucs have in Minnesota, now the Bears have lost the way they did. They have their guards up. Not saying the Bucs don't have their guards down, but it's a different vibe when you lose a game the way you did like the Bears have. So there is a potential for them to bounce back, even though I do still feel like the matchup isn't great. When it comes to our offense versus their defense. Now, the Bucs offense doesn't necessarily scare me, but the Bears defensive line is still a huge concern.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Carm.
Thanks,
Brax.
You're such a
Thanks, Lawrence.
just a ray of
Welcome.
sunshine in a
Am I? I don't know if I am.
In a
but
dark hole of ineptitude.
I don't know that I
desolate
am. I think
land
that
that is
my
Chicago Bears.
objectivity gets to some people, and but I promise I'm not a hater.
Can you promise me everything's gonna be okay?
No, I can't promise you that, Braggs. I'm sorry.
Well, then get out of here.
I'm a realist.
Hey, we're gonna have Hogue in a second here. Is he popping on in?
He is popping in, but we should.
Yeah, we're gonna do a little bit of a
line
reset.
change.
In order to reset, which is gonna be an amazing
Are you
talent
guys gonna
here.
make some adjustments?
We are. But what we're gonna do.
Unlike the Bears, at halftime.
First of all,
Tee that one up for me.
what we want to do. Adam Hogue is out at Halas Hall, but I was out there yesterday, and Nicholas Moriano joined me in talking with Tyler Scott. So as we get ready for Hogue, we're just going to prime you with a little Tyler Scott yesterday out at Halas. Great start to his season. I'm hoping for a whole lot more. This is a little fun moment in my Brick by Brick t-shirt because I love you, Greg Braggs. Tyler Scott yesterday out at Halas.
Thank you, Carmen.
Bye, guys.
All right, week 1, regular season, officially in the books. You've had a football in your hands in the NFL. How have you kind of come out of it, watched the tape, realized that you're here, and then, okay, how can I be better?
Yeah, like you said, finally got the ball in my hands, official NFL game. A lot of different emotions to the game for sure, from beginning to end. First one to touch the ball as well during the game on the kickoff return. And I think I was the first receiver to catch a ball from Justin this year too.
So, okay, I don't want to put you in a bad spot, but I'm like, Tyler just got the ball.
Yeah.
I was super excited for you and for the group as a whole, but then you didn't see it after that. So I don't know. How can we how do we move that forward? I thought it was super exciting that you were getting an early touch.
No, for sure. I think just maybe just game planning wise, just finding different ways to get me in the game plan. DJ, obviously somebody who's made a lot of plays this whole off season. I think just getting us in better positions to make plays. Honestly, it's just from everybody. From the OC to the players, getting open. Everybody's doing their job in line. So I just think it's just a group effort of just everybody coming together. So the plays match up how we want them to. So
what's the conversation been like in the room this week? Because DJ wants the ball more, Chase wants the ball more, you want the ball. You're a rookie. You're not obviously gonna say, hey, throw me the football. But what's it been like in your guys' room this week?
Yeah, no, I think I don't think it's necessarily a we need to touch the ball more type of mentality. Obviously, everyone wants to rock. I think that's like a given. But I think when you're looking at the film and the tape, you're just looking at exactly what as your position room and kind of individually what could you have done to put yourself in better positions, whether it's in the pass game or the run game. And then the quarterbacks, that's kind of up to their meetings and just kind of figuring out what they do as far as their reads, progressions, what did they see, and even just having talks with the quarterback as well. I think just having that conversation as well, just kind of seeing, okay, what did you see, what did you feel, those type of things. So I think it's an individual effort of just kind of looking at what could you have done to put yourself in a better position, and then I think it's also just a communication thing, and ultimately just game planning up, putting us in a better position to get the rock.
See, I see you as a leader. Like a vet, I know it's probably hard to get past week 2, but down the line. Yeah. But now you gotta, earn your spot, so to speak. Yeah. Is DJ the loudest guy in that room?
Loudest as far as just vocal?
Yeah. Or is that? Maybe it's Chase.
Man, loudest.
Yeah. Maybe it's Darnell. I don't know.
I say the leader. I say Mooney's probably the more the kind of vocal type of guy. I think DJ's more of the lead by example type of guy. I think if DJ says something, it's more like, okay, we need to lock in. You know what I'm saying? We need to hone in on what's going on. Because DJ's real laid back. Really shows up, does his job. He's a pro's pro when it comes to just coming in every day, doing the job for sure. Mooney's the type of guy who's gonna keep everything in check. I think that's a great two-headed monster. When you look at those two, as far as kind of their range. DJ's the more quiet one, preserved one. Gonna kind of lead by example. And then Mooney's the more, one that's gonna, say something or, kind of have more of a voice, so to speak, when talking.
Tyler, real quickly, actually, for some of the Bears fans that maybe are concerned that Justin feels a little gun shy, not looking for the deep target, what would you say to them?
I wouldn't say necessarily be concerned. Like I said, we still got a long season, and also too, like you got to also give credit to Green Bay as well, as far as just kind of game planning and things of that nature. Sometimes they took away different things, so I mean, they get paid too. That's their job as well. So I wouldn't necessarily say be concerned, but I think you definitely expect some more shots, so to speak, coming here in the future for sure, because I think that just opens up a lot more things. But I wouldn't necessarily say be concerned.
Anything else from you, Nick?
No, I'm good, Mark.
Okay. Hey,
Appreciate you guys.
you've been awesome since you walked in there. Excited to see where you're going, and congrats on week 1.
Appreciate you, man.
So our guy Tyler Scott.
Nice work. And
as likable as they come. Hogue's ready. So what you got? I know you got something you got to tell.
if you're, Sunday Ticket's no longer on DirecTV, so if you're looking to cut the cord, look no further than Fubo TV. Go to www.fubotv.com/CHGO to sign up. 140 or more live channels of sports shows, movies, and news. Stream live TV from any device. Watch the most Chicago sports for the lowest price. Start watching immediately with a free trial. No contract, no cable, no hassle. Just sign up and start watching 1,000 hours of cloud DVR included at no extra charge. Watch your local teams while traveling. You got an event coming up, college football, Big Ten, NFL, Bears Network, NFL Red Zone. The Ryder Cup's coming up. That's all going to be available on Fubo TV. So watch all your favorite Chicago football and the NFL with Fubo. Go to www.fubotv.com/CHGO to sign up for 15% off your first month of Fubo Pro.
All right, let's bring in Adam Hogue out at Halas Hall. Huge news today with Kyler Gordon being placed on injured reserve. Richard Hightower has already spoken today as well, which is Adams, I believe, is his best friend as they talk special teams. Good afternoon, Adam Hogue. How are you, sir?
What's up, guys? Yeah, not great news on Kyler Gordon, but sort of what I expected, I think. And we haven't really had any opportunity to get any kind of clarity or details. I don't know why the decision was made to go on IR. Matt Eberflus is not available to the media on Thursdays. And on top of that, defensive coordinator Alan Williams is not in the building today for personal reasons. That's all we know on that one there, too. So even his defensive coordinator not available today. And that move was made after we talked to Richard Hightower and Luke Getsy. So the earliest that Kyler Gordon can return is week 6 against the Vikings. And in the meantime, they got to look at other options. Josh Blackwell's obviously one of those options, but he was on the injury report yesterday, limited with a hamstring issue. So that one's perhaps in doubt. They elevated Greg Stroman Jr. from the practice squad. He's got a lot of experience. He's been in the league since 2018, so that's another option. I'm intrigued by Terrell Smith, who at one point in training camp was seemingly in a one-on-one battle with Tyreek Stevenson for the starting outside corner job. I have to do a little bit more digging on his experience in the slot, but perhaps that's an option. I'm intrigued by that because if they thought that highly of the 5th-round pick that he could be in the mix for the outside corner spot in training camp, if he can contribute and get on the field, perhaps that young rookie makes sense in the meantime with Kyler Gordon out.
We want to get to Luke Getsy in a second here, but can you see any scenario where Tyreek Stevenson moves inside and slides over, plays the slot corner?
I hate that idea. We saw this last year with Kyler Gordon trying to do both spots as a rookie. I would hope the Bears learn their lesson there. I understand it's a different player, but and some players can handle things better than others, but we already know with Tyreek Stevenson, his history of when he was asked at Georgia to play anywhere outside of, the outside, he didn't like it. This is the NFL. You do whatever your coaches ask you to do. You get paid to do it, but I don't like that idea at all. I'd rather get creative in either. First of all, I think Jack Sanborn needs to be on the field more. I think because that's an option. I think that gives you perhaps some blitzing opportunities to get home to the quarterback. We've already seen that from Jack Sanborn, his ability to get in the backfield and be used as a pass rusher. And that's not just last season's tape. That goes all the way back to Wisconsin where he was really good at that. So I'm not saying that you create bad mismatches or put your defense in a bad spot just to be in base more than nickel, but I don't know, a handful of snaps a game where maybe you go base a little bit more. I mean, you got to match up to the defense. If they're in 11 personnel, you got to go nickel. But if there's ever a handful of opportunities where you're sort of in between, get creative. I don't want to move Tyreek Stevenson around. I would keep him there. I'd rather see if Terrell Smith can handle the slot.
Well, you talk about getting creative and not putting your defense in a bad spot. So you're hitting right where I wanted to go with on the defensive side with you. To me, you're putting these corners in a bad spot, even in week 1, and now more so with Kyler Gordon out, if you do not get creative, because the pass rush is not getting home. So to me, how are we going to get off of this third down? Because from my vantage point, what we saw at camp, Kyler Gordon, who's out now, but Jalen Johnson and Tyreek Stevenson, they can play man coverage. So at some point, does Eberflus and Allen Williams kind of have to let go of this cover 2 base that they have and start getting creative, start getting exotic to give their corners an opportunity to not have to hold on to their receivers for dear life or play in a zone on 3rd and long? Like, to me, that it's a must. You got to let go of this cover 2 until you can get a significant pass rush.
Yeah, I mean, I think a huge departure from their philosophy is just not going to happen. I do think that they mix it up a little bit more than, the Lovie Smith days when the Bears ran this. I do agree that if you got corners that can press and play man, you should take advantage of that. To me, it's more about just finding a way to get more pressure on the quarterback. To me, it's more about that than anything else. Once you create pressure, you're going to put your secondary in a much better position, not only from a cover standpoint, but also from a break on the football and create takeaways standpoint. You have to get pressure. I know we've spent endless minutes and hours talking about Justin Fields and the offense this week. I still maintain what I said at the start of our postgame show on Sunday. The thing I was most disappointed in and most worried about was the lack of a pass rush. After months and months and months and months and months of talking about this, and them seemingly making upgrades, spending money on Yannick Ngakoue, DeMarcus Walker, and drafting Zach Pickens, drafting Gervon Dexter, using high draft capital on these players to get almost no pressure at all in that game. And we've talked about earlier in the week, less pressures than Jalen Carter got in one game by himself, right? Like, that's got to change. It just absolutely has to change, whether that's the players playing better, the coaches putting those players in a better opportunity to get pressure. They have to find a way to put more pressure on Baker Mayfield this week. To me, defensively, it's all about that. It's all about that. And you just got to do it this week. And if it's still a problem, that's the one thing that I'm just hanging on from this one game, being like I don't want – if we're going to have doom and gloom about Justin Fields, to me it's more like for this defense, if they can't create pressure, it's just going to be a long year. They're going to be a bottom 5-10 defense, and they're not going to come anywhere near that bold prediction I had preseason about being top 5 in takeaways. They have to find a way to create more pressure.
All right, let's go to the other side of the ball. Luke Getsy speaking today. He put a lot of it on execution, judging by what I'm finding on Twitter here. What stood out from the Getsy conversation today, Adam?
Yeah, I think I don't know. It was a weird press conference. He was – I don't want to even say this like it's a bad thing. I don't think it is. But it was just sort of like – I mean, you just wouldn't have known that the Bears had that bad of a game with the way he came in there with his attitude being so positive, which I think is a good thing. I don't think that – I'm not bringing that up as a criticism at all. I just think it was interesting. It didn't feel like one of the many awkward Thursday press conferences I've had with plenty of offensive coordinators throughout the years here at Halas Hall, where you just know that There's a lot of questions and there's not many answers that can be given publicly in front of a microphone where you're not throwing your players under the bus. But yeah, I didn't sense much concern about the scheme. Definitely more about execution. I think a lot of that's fair. But yeah, I don't know that we got any real answers. I will bring up one thing I asked him about because he brought up, and he seemed a little frustrated that they got called for some of those false starts. I mean, he singled out the Lucas Patrick one where he just didn't snap the ball. That's obviously a false start, illegal snap. You can't do that. But on the other ones where they sort of jumped the snap count, that's what he was saying they did, and sort of seemed to be arguing that shouldn't be a false start, not necessarily by definition, but because teams get away with that all the time. And I followed up right away and said, do you think that was more of an emphasis because of what happened in that Chiefs-Lions game last week where the right tackle was getting, or was it the left tackle, where Taylor was getting, away with his jumps and false starts all night? And he's like, I didn't really think about that. I'm not sure. And I got to be honest, like, for me, I would seeing that game Thursday night. I mean, that would have been a point of emphasis for me in Friday's meeting right away. Like, hey, we got to be careful with this because this was such a big topic last night that you got to expect the referee. And I didn't see enough games around the league to know if they were calling it in other games too. But I just found that interesting because it did seem like they were calling it a little bit closer in the Bears game, especially the one on the 2-point conversion. I think that might have been Darnell Wright who fired off the ball that they called it on. That one was close enough that I would have let that go if I was a referee. But you know what? By the letter of the law, it probably is a false start.
You know, we've been trying to read through the tea leaves of some of these quotes and these pressers throughout the week between Justin Fields, Matt Eberflus, trying to decipher if the coaches and players are having a disconnect. Today, the press conference wasn't streamed for fans to see, so we only have the quotes to read off of. But Luke Getsy said in regards to DJ Moore's 2 targets in the opener, it was a disappointment, and he said there's a lot of reasons why things happen. Protection could have broken down on a particular play for him. Justin maybe didn't see something in a particular way. There's a lot of things that go into it. We are definitely calling plays for DJ. And for fans, when we read that, we look at that as a shot across the bow to Justin. Is that over-interpreting what he said there?
So this is where I get annoyed as somebody who's in that room asking questions a lot. Okay, do you want him to be honest or is everything a shot? I'm being serious. Like, because we want them to answer questions. And we know guys were open. We know DJ Moore was open. We know Justin missed them. So
I think to answer that question, when it's as bad as it was on Sunday, I want to see personal accountability. I don't want to hear Luke Getsy say, if he believes Justin didn't see it a particular way, fine. But I want him to come to the podium and say, I need to do better. I want Justin to not say, oh, well, Getsy's got to call the plays better. He needs to walk to the podium and say, I need to do better. I don't want the finger pointing. They can deal with that in their own room. But I want, when they're at the podium, I want to hear personal accountability as a fan.
So in essence, you want them to lie.
It just, yeah, go ahead.
But that's where I'm like, to me, it's a lose-lose for Getsy. Because if he gets asked about Justin missing wide receivers and he dodges the question or doesn't admit to the fact that his quarterback did that, which we all know he did, then he's either dodging the question, not holding his player accountable, right? Or the other option is to just say the truth, and now he's throwing his player under the bus. Like, and that's that I just, sometimes I wish we could just like, here's a question, here's an honest answer. Nobody's throwing anybody under the bus. It's just what happened.
That's fair.
And the player understands it because it's the same conversations they have in those meetings. You don't think they threw those plays up on the screen this week and said, Justin, you got to make this throw? They damn sure did. So, and I would hope from the coach's side, to your point, Braggs, that he also put plays up and said, this wasn't a great call in this situation. I got to be better too. I'm imagining that all that. I'm not imagining. I'm almost 95% sure that that's what's going on in those team meetings. And if it's not, then that's a huge problem. But so then I hope that they can come to the press conference too and answer these questions honestly without it being interpreted by everybody like, oh, this player is taking a shot at his coach and this coach is taking a shot at his player. No, they're just answering questions.
Hogue's with us from Halas Hall right now. Luke Getsy speaking today. So was Richard Hightower. Alan Williams has had personal issues, so he did not do his normal Thursday press conference. Was he asked about the 3rd and 1 and Cole Kmet?
3rd and 1, Cole Kmet.
The sneak in the first offensive series.
Oh, you know what? I don't think that came up today. That's probably a bad job by us. Yeah, I don't think that came up today.
So he wasn't asked about his. That's interesting. All right. He's got one quote here. Let me just read it. Getsy.
I maintain that wasn't a bad call.
Okay. We could quibble about that offline.
I'd rather have my big tight end in there than my quarterback. What I would like to see off of that, and I would like to be able to trust my offensive line to get 1 yard in that situation on 2 plays, which they couldn't even get like 6 inches. What I'd like to see though is an option where. And it's got to be made. Now you're talking a lot of trust being put in a tight end instead of a quarterback. But if Kmet comes under center there and he sees the defense squeeze in like they did, pitch the ball out to Justin. Now, that, if I'm remembering right, and I forgot to look this up, I was going to go back on the tape. Did they not run that against the Detroit Lions in Detroit last year?
That sounds right.
Maybe I'm just imagining it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there was a play.
There was a play where Cole pitched it to Justin.
Yes. Cole pitched it to Justin to the left, and Justin picked up like 20 yards.
So, and that's the last game. If that was against the Lions, which I'm pretty sure it was because I am remembering this from the press box, and I was in Detroit for that game. That's the last game Justin played in. So maybe they were hoping that, okay, Packers are going to be ready for that. He comes under center. They're not going to squeeze in like they did. And you know what? Good job by sometimes that happens. I'm not trying to make excuses for Getsy, but I honestly do not hate that call. And they're probably trying to play off of that play from last year where they did pitch it to Justin. And the Packers did a good job of defending it. Now what I would like to see if I'm the offensive coordinator saying, okay, we have this in the playbook. Well, next time, if they squeeze in, you pitch it. You have the option to pitch it because that would have worked there. He would have, and it may have even been a touchdown because he would have had that much room to run. I know everyone's saying, why not run the Eagles play where they just push them? That's a different call on 4th down. I agree. If Justin's going to sneak it on that 4th down call, that should have been the call. But when you have Justin Fields and you have what we saw last year against the Lions where they did pitch it to Justin, I do not hate the idea of Cole Kmet coming under center there. Get a push or come up with an option where you can pitch it back if the defense squeezes like they did.
We're gonna move on this one because we could debate it all day, but
I hated the call, and I hate you for liking the call. No, I'm kidding. I love it.
Just remember that Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all kind of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. I feel like this is a good moment for this. We all need to chill out and have some Sunnyside on that play. No matter where you are in your cannabis journey, easy online ordering and in-store pickup is available for you. They've got a great, transparent loyalty program, Sunnyside Rewards. You know, you buy their Mindy's, you buy their Good News, you buy their Cresco, you buy their High Supply, start building up the points, start getting all sorts of values. That's a sweet thing. Through October 15th, head to sunnyside.shop. Use that code CHGO25 at checkout, and you get 25% off your total order. One use per customer, not stackable with other promotions. That's not only for new customers. Anyone can use our code. Pick up everything you need to elevate your football season. You do have to be 21 or over or an Illinois Med card holder.
Sorry.
Adam, do you think that the offense is going to look a lot different this week listening to Luke Getsy today, which sounds like, judging by his words, that's not the case. So maybe it's just an opinion based on how miserable things went in week 1.
Do I think they're going to come out and look as drastically different as they did last year on Monday Night Football against the Patriots after that mini bye? No, I don't. Do I expect more wrinkles? Do I expect them to run Justin more? They should. Okay, go watch the Browns game. Okay, they weren't afraid to run a QB draw with Deshaun Watson in the red zone. Like, it's just about picking your spots. No one's saying here run Justin 20 times a game, but you got to have that in there. And it's got to come before the garbage time in the fourth quarter. So I do expect there to be a concerted effort to get the ball to DJ Moore. And if there's not at least 2 or 3 design runs for Justin Fields in this football game, I will come on the show post game and just start firing away even more than I did last week.
I mean, to me, the revelation that I came to with looking forward to Tampa Bay is that they're a heavy blitzing team. Todd Bowles is going to bring the heat just like he did last week against Kirk Cousins. And so that equals probably a very similar game plan that the Bears ran week 1. The one way to stymie a blitz is running an effective screen game. So is the hope that they execute this better? Because it almost seems it's unavoidable that they're going to have to get the ball out quick and run screens to try to win this game.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think people need to go back and really count the amount of screens. It wasn't nearly as much as
it felt like 20.
I know it did because they weren't working. But they could have worked if Robert Tonyan doesn't completely miss a block, if Chase Claypool tries at all. So, and it's a part of the playbook so you can't just get away from it completely. I would make personnel changes. I would have Velus Jones active. I think he's better in the return game. We heard Hightower talk today about the big long punt to the punt return that Jaden Reed had, that the Gunners didn't get downfield well enough. And I went back and looked at it after the play, and he's right. Well, guess who's a good gunner? Velus Jones is a good gunner. So that's another area where that can help you. Now, Kari Blasingame also failed to keep contain on that, and they weren't all in their lane, so that's got to be better too. But I would make a couple personnel decisions that are different. I would tweak, like I said, put Justin in a position to run a little bit more and take a couple more concerted shots downfield. Now all of a sudden we're talking 10 to 15 snaps. Like that ends up being a big part of your entire playbook for the entire day, just changing that percentage. And I think you can still do that against this Bucs team.
Well, Daniel Trump makes a good point in the chat. Blitz plus man coverage equals, Justin good against man. So I like the idea of that too. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I just one super chat about just from George Bayless.
Hey, Carm, since I tried to text you this, but now I got to just tell you on the air, but I got to go.
I was just looking for the text from you a second ago.
It's all good. Other people need this room, so I got to run.
All right, brother.
Appreciate it. And Braggs, it's going to be okay, buddy.
We'll see you Sunday.
We'll see you pregame 11.
I'm ready. I'm over it. I'm not crying anymore.
See you, Adam. Adam Hogue out at Halas Hall. No one believes you. $5 super chat from George Bayless. Why did no one ask 90% of the plus plays were from the 11 gun with the tight end detached? So easy for the defense to be able to turn in and read the play. George, I hear you, buddy. A lot of questions that could be fired in 11 minutes that you get to talk to the coordinator. So, listen, big week for Luke Getsy. Got to get the offense looking like an actual offense.
It just scares me when I consistently hear to go back to the defense with what Hogue said. It just scares me when I hear that they're not going to come off of – I understand that it's their base philosophy to run cover 2. But if you can't get pressure, if you don't have a 3 technique, then you're just going to die by 1,000 cuts. It irritates me that they're not going to come off of that. You have to play man coverage. You have to blitz. They cannot get pressure. And I'm getting tired of people saying, well, they're just not going to do it. Well, then you're going to lose.
You know what I'm getting tired of?
What?
I mean, I literally said off season when everyone's like, they're going to win 10 games. I'm like, how are they going to win when they can't get to the quarterback? Now you on week 1, now they can't get to the quarterback. That's what I'm getting annoyed by. I don't know. They got to figure it out, buddy. Get to the damn SQB.
I'm more than annoyed about it. I'm depressed.
Yeah, all right.
But I'm trying not to be depressed. I'm trying to get excited for week 2.
Well, here, get excited with DraftKings. Football back in full swing with another week of epic games. Who's got you covered for the action on every single one of them? You know damn well who does. That would be DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers can bet just $5. Get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Nobody's missing out on the action this season. All DraftKings customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every game this September. Get in on the NFL Week 2 action with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now. Use the code CHGO to sign up. New customers can bet just $5. Take home $200 instantly in bonus bets only on DraftKings Sportsbook with the code CHGO. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, 21 or over. Ages vary by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms for eligibility. Terms and responsible gaming resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply.
You know where I stopped yesterday after I got pulled over?
Where's that?
I stopped over with my friends at Circle K to clear my head, pick up this cherry Coke Zero, maybe some beef jerky. Carm loves when I eat beef jerky here. And we are so excited to partner with our friends at Circle K. Check out your local Circle K for the best coffee, beer and snack selection, and premium gas. Look out for freebies and giveaways down the road. Like I said, you can get your jerky, you can get your Doritos there. If you go into their griller, at lunchtime, you can get a hot dog. Really good stuff there. When I'm always in Cherville, Indiana, they got a lot of different locations just in my area, so I guarantee you've got multiple ones in yours as well. So thank you to Circle K for sponsoring CHGO. Visit the nearest Circle K to pick up all your favorite finds.
All right, should we hear from...
Do we need a DraftKings play of the week?
We do. You got one?
I do.
Let's hear it, Lawrence.
It's the primetime under. Our guy Cody Del Mendo was on this last week. He's 3-0. Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night. Under.
Go Cody.
Primetime under. So we're gonna ride that hot streak until they tell us not to. Under 49.5 tonight. Vikings at Eagles. That's a standard minus 110 bet. There is a 50% boost if you do that up to $10. So get on that. There's your
under 49.5 DraftKings play of the week, courtesy of Cody, who's red hot. Gotta love that. You also gotta love Jack Sanborn. Should we play the Sand God from yesterday?
Oof. Do we have to?
That's why I put the Sand God jersey on the set today.
Sand God and I got to a new level yesterday. Did you watch it?
I'm about to watch it.
I think this is a new level for me in the Sand God. I think we are officially buddies. Curious what the chat thinks. This is about, it was the last interview of Locker Room. We got cut off, so we didn't have a ton of time, but here's the Sand Godding.
Just name one thing coming out of week 1 that you want to do better as a defense when you're looking at the tape.
Get off the field on third down. I think that was kind of the story of the game, and especially on the defense. So I think that's number one goal.
When you're evaluating your own performance, anything specific that you feel like you're always right in the thick of things, but anything you feel like you could do better?
I think communication. I think everyone across the board can just get better at that, and I think that'll come. So.
Jack, real quickly, when it comes to like the Green Bay screenplays that they had, what can you guys do as a defense to kind of fill those out a little bit better? To again put yourself in a position to make the play. What is it that you guys can do collectively to kind of be in better position?
Yeah, I think we can read our keys better. Read the linemen coming out and stuff, and then just play a fundamental defense too, and just. Doing your job, and then getting to the ball, obviously, running the ball. So, yeah.
It's got to be great, though, for you. Yeah, the last one. grateful for you just to be back and playing after the offseason. I mean, how you feeling?
Good. I mean, we got a great group in the linebacker room, and great guys in this locker room. So it's very, very exciting.
Good luck down in Tampa.
Thank you.
Did you see the fist bump?
I did, and I saw the love and the look in your eye.
Did you see the I mean, are we not? I think we're there.
I kind of,
Man's focused.
I was the icebreaker at training camp. Let him know about your love for him. So that was an easy transition there. He knew.
He knew. You set it up.
I got you.
Thank you, buddy.
Got you.
All right, we got a ton
I
of
don't know what that fist bump was. It was like
this.
I missed.
I get the thumb.
So I just
thumbs up.
Yeah, that was terrible.
I mean, that's right, Juan, and everybody else. I was in love. I am in love. I love the Sand God. I mean, why not? $2. A super chat from our guy Elliot970. Shy will always be where QBs and wide receivers go to die. We are going to change that, Elliot. We are going to change that. Antonio Havis, $9.99. Hope I'm saying that last name right, Antonio. It was week 1. I know we look terrible, but this is an 8-win team at best. The season is about Justin growing up, the offense, and let him sink or swim so we know what we have at QB. Antonio, my friend, I tend to agree with you. I am more about Fields' progress versus victories being the number one important thing. But when you've lost 11 in a row and you got this guy sitting to my left who's about to have a meltdown if they don't win on Sunday,
Yep.
We got a little bit of a balancing act going on.
Yeah, it's a bit of a balance.
Yeah.
I'd like some balance, as in 1-1.
Stephen Haynes, we have all week to put everything under the microscope. Sometimes it's simple. Pass the ball, run the ball, rush the quarterback, let Fields sink or swim. Okay, Stephen.
Everybody wants sink or swim.
Perhaps in the Thames, because I believe that's a picture of London behind him there. I believe that's the London Bridge.
Is that
£5
euros?
sterling. £5 sterling. Pounds, my friend.
Pounds. Hey, I didn't know, so I just left it out. The point is that Stephen took the time to write to us, which is what we really
euros?
appreciate.
Well, let's go to the Giroud, or I forget.
Giroud.
I forget how to say his name. Is the Irish
Giroud. I think everyone needs to calm all the way down about JF1. I still think he can be the guy, but if not, we need the whole season to find out.
Well, the thing that scares me about it is just over the last couple of days hearing Fields and then Getsy, and they're talking about, having more opportunities to identify a one-on-one and the 50-50 balls. That's fine. You definitely got to make those attempts and push the ball downfield. It's the plays that he's not seeing where guys, it's not a 50-50 ball. Guys are wide open downfield. So, when he has those opportunities this week, I just like to see him hit a few more of those to kind of put our mind at ease. I understand we're all, overreacting, but at the same time, it's money on the table time, and the excuses are running dry. You have good players around you. And, last year it was easy to kind of push things off like, well, the offensive line is third stringers, guys that shouldn't be in the league. Wide receivers are terrible. And you can't really say those things anymore. So, it's time to make some plays. And every week that goes by that you don't, the pressure is just going to continue to ramp up.
Pushing things off is not a good idea, except when it comes to buying tickets at the last minute. And the way to do that is with game time tickets. Like that, Lawrence? You like that? That was one of the greatest transitions in the history of
That's why you're a pro.
transitions. That's right. Listen, you shouldn't have to worry when you're buying tickets to a big event. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets. Like if you go on some of these other sites, you got to hit like 7 buttons to get through to actually buying the tickets. Game Time makes it super easy. Boom, boom, done and done. And of course, you get the last minute deals, all-in prices, views from the seat, best price guarantee. They give you 110% back on the ticket if you find a better price somewhere else. Game Time takes the guesswork out of all buying tickets. Game Time, let's just be honest. Game Time is the greatest. Download the Game Time app. Do it right now. Create an account, and then use code CHGO. You get $20 off your first purchase. They're going to pay you to go to the White Sox game tonight if you do that, basically. $20 $20 off with the code CHGO. Download the Game Time app. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code CHGO, $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
And when you hit up Game Time and you're heading to Wrigley or Soldier Field later this year, you got to hit up FOCO to get fitted out in the best sports gear around. That's FOCO. Use the code CHGO on all non-presale items, hoodies, shoes, signs, bobbleheads, and everything in between. It's baseball season coming up on potentially the playoffs. If the Cubs would not blow it, that would be great. Aloha shirts, straw hats, polos, bags, everything you need for a game. Set decorations like you see around us, the stuff you see here on the table and behind us. FOCO hooked us up for us some awesome pieces for our set. So go show them some love. Check out FOCO.com or click the link in the description below for all non-presale items. Use the promo code CHGO for 10% off. FOCO. FOCO.
All right. Will and Nick are here tomorrow, and we have pregame at 11 on Sunday, postgame after. We'll be talking about a Bears win. I'm guaranteeing it. Jake in the Super Chat. I know they want continuity on the offensive line, but bench Lucas Pratris and move Whitehair to center and start Dan Feeney.
Bears.
Hey,
I like it.
Jake, they can start Dan Feeney at center. You don't need to move Whitehair. That's what I would do.
I would play Whitehair at center because that's what you practice all offseason. And then I would either do Feeney or Jatiri Carter at left guard, and I would live with the results.
Jatiri Carter has a lot of energy. I would be interested to see him out there. Of course, I'm not one of the coaches.
Cannot be any worse than what we saw from the combination of Patrick and Whitehair, respectfully.
But that's, by the way, one thing. If we're talking about benching someone because of the hits philosophy, his name is Nate Davis. Brutal. BRUTAL. I'd love to see somebody else playing right guard. And that one, by the way, is not on the coaching staff. All right, Super Chat, $5 from Marty. Rewatching the Green Bay game, you know who Love reminds me of? Cousins. Didn't we say that's the best case scenario as Bears fans? Marty, we did, and I do feel comfortable that Love doesn't suck, and he's not going to be elite. So the Packers are just going to be a nice middling Packer, which is what we want. And can the Bears get good?
The Packers are going to come back to reality. It already started earlier this week when they lost one of their 2 first-round picks with the injury to Aaron Rodgers. And the next step of reality they're going to hit is the next team they play probably will be a little more prepared than what the Bears were on Sunday. So they can have their fun. I went to dinner last night, and this older couple, they were all decked out in the wife and husband decked out in Packer hat, Packer shirt, just trying to start something up. They're getting real chesty because they won. They're making us feel bad. I was at Texas Roadhouse. I almost whipped one of those cinnamon bread rolls right in the back of their head. Because you know what? Like, okay, you won. It's embarrassing. But get ready because you're going to play the rest of the league who doesn't suck, and you're going to lose, and you're going to get ready. That's all I'm saying. Reality's going to hit for you too, Green Bay, so you get 1 week of fun. Kiss my ass.
Do me a favor. If you hate Green Bay, please click the like button because we would appreciate it.
Should I go to
Jenny goes, you need to calm down. I go, screw them. Get them out of here. Trying to enjoy my Texas Roadhouse.
Should I go Elitisville and start asking questions about why are you going to Texas Roadhouse?
He lives in Indiana.
Excuse me? They have great steak. Great. Look at, they're getting a free plug here, so you might as well get on board with us at CHGO. No bigger advocate than me for Texas Roadhouse. Don't hate. You can go to some, elitist steakhouse and pay $300 for your steak, and the steak is just as good there. They do great job. Look at that. That's like an hour. That was a minute ad read right there for Texas Roadhouse.
We don't need to because I got to help you.
I don't get a free meal.
I got to help you produce the Blackhawk show. Let's get out of here.
All right.
Please hit the like on the way out.
I do a nice sweet potato.
Jim, get us on Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah.
I'm corporate.
All right.
I'm corporate now.
A lot of fun today. Thank you for everybody who hit the like button. Thank you for everybody who watched and didn't hit the like button. Thank you to Lawrence Benedetto for producing. Thank you to Adam Hogue jumping out at Halas Hall doing his job. Thank you to Carmen Vitali for joining us. Thank you to Greg Braggs for being so damn ass adorable. And thank you to the Bears Zone podcast for also underlining that the Roadhouse is consistent. Is that the one that's got the peanuts?
Yeah, and Stephen Nicholas in the chat, our super producer.
Yeah.
You can get any size cut you want, filet or whatever.
Okay, I got it. Stop
I can
talking.
go all day. This is how we live.